You know, I grew up in Texas doing a lot of ranch work, and that invariably means fixing fence, building fences. Building fences requires digging a lot of post holes, like what I'm doing now. In the summertime, it's hot, it's extremely dry, the ground gets hard as a rock. And I remember a project one time. I was probably a sophomore or junior in high school, and we were building a training arena for our quarter horses. Well, the project started by me digging about 40 or 50 post holes in order to set the posts. It took me quite a while to get those 40 dug, busting through hard ground in the middle of July and August, sometimes busting through sandstone and limestone. It took me forever, it seemed like, to dig those 40 holes. Well, not too long ago I was thinking just about our work with the Navigators and spending some time reflecting on the 10 years that we've been on staff, laboring on the college campuses, ministering to college students. And one of the things God reminded me is that all those days digging post holes, busting through rock, I learned a lot through that. And one of the things I learned is that initiating with people in ministry, trying to engage people spiritually, introducing people to the gospel of Jesus, praying for people, in a lot of ways it's busting rock. It's persevering, it's slow going, it requires a lot of patience. Because really what we're doing, we're engaging in people's lives. We're helping turn the soil, so to speak, of their hearts. But God's the one that causes the growth, and eventually God's the only one that can produce the fruit. You know, that's a significant lesson in my life. And the amazing thing about being able to work with the Navigators is that we get to do that in teams of people. And we labored for 8 years at Texas Tech, and every time we would go into the dorms, every time we would ask a student where they were spiritually, every time we would share the gospel of Jesus, every time we would engage them in Bible study, initiate new relationships, every time we would talk to people about our ministry and cast vision, every time we would walk alongside staff who were learning to labor on the campus, all that was a slow process. It was a methodical process. It was much like busting rock. Well, fast forward, we left Texas Tech after 8 years, moved to the Pacific Northwest. We were asked to help lead a developing region. Currently we're on 3 campuses in probably the most unchurched and anti-God regions in the whole United States. You see, people here are opposed to organized religion. They're opposed to such thing as truth. They believe that truth is relative. What's right for you is good for you, but don't push it on me. Just an overall apathy towards the gospel and anything spiritual. Initiating with people, building relationships, going on campus, trusting God to bear fruit, it's a slow, patient process. And what we're learning is it takes a lot of just busting the rock, turning the soil, trusting God to cause the growth. We need help doing that. We would like to invite you to join us busting rock in the Pacific Northwest on the college campuses. We believe that God wants to grow the Navigators. We want to see the Navigators expand to many, many campuses from the 3 that we're currently on. In 10 years, we would love to be on dozens of campuses, engaging students, exposing them to the truth of the gospel, and seeing them flourish in their walks with Jesus as they come to know Christ. So we're asking, would you come alongside and do that with us? 3 ways specifically we're asking you to consider. You know, we need prayer warriors. We need people who will come alongside, partner, and labor with us in prayer. We also need people who may think of a volunteer or someone that they know that could come alongside and labor with us in the field, on the campuses. Maybe it's a student, maybe it's a business person or a professor or someone in the community that could come alongside a student. Our most pressing need right now is we need financial partners. We need people to come alongside People say, you know what? We believe in what you're doing, and we want to bust rock with you by giving financially. We would like to ask you to consider coming along, partnering with us on our monthly financial support team. And maybe you consider what you could give monthly. Maybe it's an annual gift. But we'd just like to ask you to pray and consider, would you help us bust rock by giving financially? You know, the great thing about building that training pen is I dug a lot of post holes, put a lot of sweat into that project. But eventually, one of our quarter horses ended up becoming a world champion. And so, even though I didn't feel like it at the time, I felt like Bustin Rock was insignificant. Eventually, our family got to experience the fruit of owning a world champion quarter horse. You know, similarly, in a spiritual dimension to that, there are days when we feel like our work is meaningless, our work is unfruitful, but ultimately we trust God for the fruit of transformed lives, the fruit of students coming to know Jesus personally, walking alongside Him, and making a difference among their friends. Would you like to be a part of that? You know, we know that that's sacrificial, and we appreciate those people who have teamed with us up to this point. And we want to continue to seek out the people to partner with us. So thanks for letting us share our hope, to share our story, and we would love to see you come alongside us and bust rock for the sake of the kingdom.